Hey everybody, it's Emily at ARG Schooling, and today I'm going to be reviewing It. Last month-ish, I have been working on reading It, and I finished it yesterday. I wanted to finish it before I saw the movie, but that just did not work out. So I wanted to do a review because this is one of my favorite books. I have read it many times since I was about 12, I think, the first time I read it. And it just gets better every time. This book is about 7 children who live in Derry, Maine. And Derry, Maine is sort of a main character in this story, which is really interesting. I think that's the thing that blew my mind the most as a kid when I was reading it, that in this book, Derry, the town the children live in, is a character, almost as much as Pennywise. So these children live in Derry, Maine, and it starts in the 1950s, and there's a parallel story happening that takes place in the 1980s, 27 years later. So every 27 years, bad things happen. And it's not just child murders, it's disasters and just strange, murderous happenings, and nobody really notices, which makes it very strange. The town is sort of under the spell of it, and the adults don't seem to really care. Some people are aware that something is wrong, but they don't know what to do about it, so they just do nothing. Well, these 7 children decide that they're going to do something. And that's what the story is about. Their experiences fighting it. And what happens 27 years later when they have to come back. This novel is so good. It's enormous. It is a humongous book. Like, I'm not gonna lie, this took some time to read. It takes some time. You gotta commit. But it's so worth it in the end. Stephen King has this way of storytelling where it's never just one thing. It's never just horror. There's always another layer to it. This book is funny. It is endearing. You fall in love with these characters, and they just sort of burrow their way into your heart. There are a lot of the Stephen King tropes in it. The bully is the same bully from like every Stephen King book that has a bully. They're always the same guy. But the way that he uses it to kind of control everything makes it that much scarier, I think. I would say this book is very scary, but it's not... Like, I don't think I ever had nightmares from it. This is the first book I think legit, like, made me feel uneasy while I was reading it. It made me nervous. Like, something might happen. I think one of my favorite things about this book, and I might get spoilery, be prepared for that. I'm trying not to be spoilery, but spoilers may come out. The thing I think I like the most about this book is the friendship between the Losers Club. These 7 children sort of band together. That's like what this book is about. At its core is the friendship between these children and how powerful something like that can be. How much power we can have over our fears, and being able to face our fear and look it in the eye and tell it that it doesn't have power over us anymore. That's like what the story is about. Pennywise, the clown, is a character who is not really what it seems to be. The thing that always bothered me about the 90s miniseries is that Pennywise was it, and it was Pennywise, and that is not the case. Yes, it appears to be Pennywise the clown. He also goes by Bob Gray a lot in the story, which I still want to know why. I don't understand that part. Like, what is Bob Gray? Where did that come from? I don't know. I feel like that was never explained. But Pennywise is only what he appears to be because that's what he can use to scare children. His goal, or Pennywise, or its goal is to be whatever thing you're afraid of. It's sort of almost like a boggart, but not exactly. There are scenes in the story where the 7 children are together and they can't figure out what it is until one of them says, "Oh no, it's the Wolfman," and then they can all see the Wolfman, because it's trying to figure out what can be scary enough to get all of them. So in that essence, it is very much like a boggart from Harry Potter, that it has to take on the appearance of what you're afraid of. but you can't, use a spell against it. But you can use your power over it. It's all about having power over fear. And the best parts of this book are when the Losers Club are children. I love their friendship and the way they relate to each other and how they just sort of meld. Their chemistry together is what makes the story. Yeah, one of the things I love the most about the story is how deep the history goes. Like, you're reading and you're finding out that Derry, Maine isn't just a normal town. It's not just your average small town where weird things happen sometimes. It's like, it goes back and back and back every 27 years for as long as Derry has been in existence. And it's so intense and interesting, and I loved that aspect of the story, is the deep backstory that he gives everything. Like, I mean, you don't write a book like this without giving some massive backstory to everything. And so I really appreciate that, because I always have questions and I always want to know more, and I still do. There are still things that I'm like, I wonder where that came from or why he did that. But overall of the story, so much. Yes, there's the scene at the end that I just tend to skip over, honestly, because I don't think it belongs there. I don't know why it's there. I've never understood why it was there, and I just sort of like, because the rest of the book is so good, I just sort of pretend that part doesn't happen. I always skip it, but I'm not going to give anything away, but if you've read it, you know what I'm talking about. And it just doesn't need to be there. Overall, though, I love this book. It is a big important piece of my reading, like, life and my reading coming of age and all of that, and it's just one of those books that I will always love, and I gave it 5 stars. It is still one of my all-time favorite books. Have you read it? What did you think of the story? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. I'm going to do another video after this in which I talk about the movie, because I went to see the movie, of course. That's why I was reading the book, and I have things to say. So I wanted to do a movie review as well, so I'll film that next. So if you're curious about that, stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Happy reading. Bye.